Hey Headwaters, JC Pohl here. For those of you that don't know me, I live on Day Ridge, and Remy asked me to put together a video for you on mental health. I've had the opportunity and the fortune of working in schools for the last 10 to 15 years, doing school assemblies and leadership summits around mental health, as well as I'm also a marriage and family therapist. I have a small private practice right down 290 at Sunset Canyon. And I just want to talk to you just really briefly about maybe just ways to kind of increase happiness and improve mental health while we're all dealing with the COVID-19 crisis. I know that many of you, had your spring break plans changed or affected. We're starting, I don't know when you're going to watch this video, but we're starting our first week now with school being postponed or canceled. So many of us have children at home that we're going to have to homeschool. And I'm sure your work, many things are stressful in business and life with just so many things changing with everything around COVID-19, both financially, personally, with our kids, family-wise, just so many different things going on. So I thought it might be helpful to just come on here and speak to you about three things that I've seen work really well, not only in my work with teenagers, but also in my private practice working with clients. So I just want to share those with you today. The first thing I think that's really important when we're dealing with a crisis in our life, I've worked with a lot of clients who've gone through grief recovery as well as divorce recovery, worked with couples that are in high conflict. And one thing I found working with clients is we often become really focused on the overarching problem. Like if you were to think of it as like an umbrella, we really focus on like the entire umbrella that's above us instead of like the little stick that's coming down the middle. And so one thing I found that's worked well is to encourage clients to think about the small things in their life and kind of break the problem down into smaller strategies, smaller plans, smaller activities that we can do to help move ourselves forward. Another way to think of this instead of the umbrella analogy might be like thinking of a huge boulder that's in front of you, right? Like, I don't know if your business has been impacted, your family, your finances, whatever it might be. It probably feels like there's this huge boulder in front of you right now. And instead of like trying to move that entire boulder, maybe it's about just kind of like making sure we got some pebbles off the pathway right now. The pathway is littered with all kinds of stuff. Like, let's just clean it off one problem by one problem, focused on one solution after one solution. And I found that when we can break down the larger problem into smaller solutions, not only does that help us kind of get into the process where hopefully we can actually move that boulder, but it helps us build some momentum in our lives, some positive momentum to help us deal with the stress that we're all under right now. Another thing that I found really important in my practice is just to encourage action-oriented movement. We talked about the small pebbles moving forward, maybe in life or business with problems. Well, one thing that's really important right now is to make sure that we're moving our bodies and getting outside, just doing things. I find that clients, when we get set in problems and we have a crisis in our life, if we get sedentary and we're not moving forward, that's when it gets really difficult kind of working through therapy, right? So the clients that can get out and, like one client I'm working with right now, she got involved in tennis. So she's playing tennis now and she really enjoys that. Another client I worked with, he enjoyed rock climbing. So he kind of got involved in rock climbing. Some of these things might be things that we can't do right now with social distancing. But the nice thing is we live in Headwaters, right? We live here in Dripping Springs. And there are so many just beautiful, amazing things that we can do to get our bodies moving. Whether that's going for a run here in our neighborhood, whether that's riding our bikes down the trails, whether that's going and exploring some of the trails. Like, I don't know if you guys saw, but one of the families posted this really awesome picture of themselves and their kids on this really old bridge that they said was down one of the trails somewhere here. So just, kind of interesting things that we can go out and explore. I didn't even know that bridge existed, right? If exercising feels too much for you, maybe that's not something that kind of aligns with how you want to create that movement in your life. Maybe things like yoga or breathing activities or just going for a walk, right? Going and walking up to Homestead Park, maybe sitting on that bench, sitting on those steps, looking out across that valley, just kind of allows you to reset a little bit. You still can go home, you still can re-engage in work and family, but taking that 20, 30, 40 minutes, an hour to yourself to kind of move your body, it can just be so important. And also the other thing maybe to point out right now that's kind of unique with the COVID-19 is like every yoga teacher, every fitness instructor, everyone I follow right now on Facebook are putting up like, free classes and Facebook live videos. My wife and I do Camp Gladiator, which is a really fun boot camp that we have here in Dripping Springs and all across Austin. And Camp Gladiator, even on their Facebook page, if you go there right now, they're putting up 2 or 3 workouts a day that like you can do for free, like that's on Facebook, and it's great exercise and activity. And so what are you doing in your life to kind of create that movement? The last thing I really wanted to focus on with you, especially as we are all kind of forced into our homes and business and life and school is changing so much for ourselves as well as our students, and that's creating some sort of schedule. Whatever that might be for you, I encourage you to sit down as a family, as a person, right, as a human, and look at how you want to schedule out things across the week. So you can create some normalcy, some expectations, some structure to your life. There may be times during the next few weeks where depression, anxiety, worry, fear tend to creep in. How are you going to structure your life to work through that? Like I just mentioned, will there be times every day that you structure where you're going to move your body and exercise and get outside in nature? Where there'll be times when you're going to homeschool your kids for an hour or 2 in the morning? Will there be time that you set aside for yourself to work or listen to that podcast or read that book? That may be hard because there might be a lot of people in your house right now that you're not really used to being there all day long. And especially for our teenagers as well. School, if you're listening to this and you're a teenager, school is so structured, right? And now we're kind of entering a world with that lack of structure. Even yourself, if you're a teenager or a younger student watching this, you can do this. You can sit down with a piece of paper, the hours of the day, and you can sit down and kind of structure, okay, when do I want to do schoolwork? When do I want to do kind of me work? When do I want to do family work and contribute to my family and contribute to the household? When can I do other things as well? So my wife and I have done that. I encourage you to do that. We posted it on our refrigerator so we know every day, at least Monday through Friday, we're going to try to keep to some sort of schedule so the boys, myself, and even my wife kind of know what's going to be happening in our household as we try to work through COVID-19. So hopefully this was helpful for you. I really appreciate Remy for asking me to do this. And if you need anything at all, like I said, I'm a marriage and family therapist. I'm a counselor here in Dripping Springs. So if you need any support, need to talk, need to reach out, I'm definitely here to help you in any way I can. You take care. You have a great day.